What is up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot. I'm Blaiden Kirk, joined as always by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Matthew Spawnhour and Theo Ash. And it is, of course, brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. If you're doing any sort of DFS or sports betting this NFL season or NBA season, make sure that is where you're getting it done. Today, we've got a great episode for you. Last time we took a look at the 8 worst teams in the NFL, the teams that are going to have the top picks in the draft, and focus on what they should be doing. Now we're going to take a look at the top contenders in the NFL and take a look at what their biggest flaws are as we get close to the postseason here. Then we're going to do a bit of a Stay Hot Locks. Then we're going to do a bit of a Christmas song draft to end off today's episode. It's going to be a fun one. We're very excited. Matt, Theo, how are you guys doing on this beautiful Wednesday evening?
I'm doing good. Are we doing a Christmas episode?
No way.
Okay.
Like-
in that
like-
case, this will be the jolliest episode of the year. We'll do a Sunday one, I guess, or a Monday one after the games. But
Oh, you meant like
This will
record
be-
Christmas Eve. Yeah, no, I would assume probably not. So,
well,
No, we
then
get
I'm
Christmas
saying de facto this is our jolliest episode if we're doing a Christmas song draft.
it's fair.
So soak it in is all I'm saying. But I'm in a good mood. I don't know. It's warmed up around here, so it's not 5 degrees out and painful to go outside. And I went and enjoyed a 45-degree walk the other night. So all is well on my end. I don't got anything to report, but I'm excited to talk about the top contenders and what their biggest problems are.
Yeah.
It
I
is
have a
so
question.
windy out. Like they're like 50 to 80 mile an hour gusts coming down off the mountains in Denver today.
Uh-oh.
They've like cut off power to half the
Nice.
city. So like a power line doesn't fall over and start another Marshall fire, I guess.
Yeah.
So like half the airport shut down. The power is off for a bunch of people. Trains have stopped working. It's kind of a crazy day around here weather-wise. I'm doing well, though. I'm doing well. Talking about flaws and contenders should be fun, considering Blaiden, you picked a list of contenders here, and you didn't include the Packers. So I'm glad about that, and now I can take out my. I still cannot believe it, man.
Look, I would have included them, but like, dude, they're so injured. It's insane.
Yeah, man, they're so injured. I still think like if Jordan Love goes God mode, we can still make. I mean, look at the 49ers. They keep chipping away. They're missing Fred Warner
They
and
do.
Joey Bosa. You know what I mean?
I thought that we were going off of just the Super Bowl odds straight up. I didn't realize you swapped one out.
That's fine. If there's ones that you can talk about and
Yeah,
ones I can talk
we
about,
can
that's
go
fine,
off
too.
the Super Bowl odds too.
I thought that was the easiest way to do it because I figured then there would be no like arguing with us about which 8 teams we picked because there's no way that you can get
Yeah,
that.
I guess-
No, I mean,
I
like,
guess
you
that's
did put the
fair,
Bears
yeah.
in your list, so
Why did you
I
put the
don't quite
Bears in?
know.
Because I'm like, I guess I could have put like the Lions.
I would have leaned the Lions over the Bears, I think, but the Bears also have better odds of just straight up making the playoffs. So and Brian Branch is hurt, so who knows? Who was the next? The next team after the Packers, because for the record, it's Rams, Seahawks, Broncos, Bills, Texans, Eagles, Patriots, Packers is the top 8 in order. Then it's the Jaguars.
Shout out! What did I say about their
Jacksonville.
potential?
Shout out
to
man.
them.
Shout out to him. Before we get into, and Matt, you might be right. It might be better to just go through that list so that there's no arguing with the list. Because the list I picked, I'm pretty sure is the same, except I have the Bears in there.
The
Yeah, that was
Bears
the
are
one I
like
kinda
a
raised
ways
my
down
hand
at plus 3,000 for the
Yeah,
Super Bowl, for
which
the
like
record.
it makes sense. But I'm like, they're doing their thing now, so whatever. But quick question: how do you guys? Should I shave the beard? I have a show this Saturday, and I'm debating whether or not I should shave the beard. I'm getting a haircut.
See how it looks with a fresh haircut, and then if you feel
I
like
guess
it
that's-
doesn't match, then you can cut it. I feel like I'm kind of neutral on it. I hate to not give you an answer at all.
Yeah,
I feel like you look. I think you go half and half. I've always thought you look sharp with just the goatee.
yeah.
The
so do
goatee is a good look.
I like the goatee, but I've been growing out the beard a little bit. I'm like, I kind of don't hate it, but I feel like it makes my face look a little bit fat.
Well, here's what we'll do. Highest like YouTube comment can pick Blaiden's facial hair, and the next episode we'll get to see him with mutton chops. So it'll be
Mutton chops would be a little Christmassy if you go like kind of
That'd be
Scrooge
so
mode. Like show up with kind of the mutton.
That'd be so tough. You show up to media week for the Super Bowl
Showing up to
with
Super
huge
Bowl
mutton
media week with
chops.
mutton chops. With a giant afro and mutton chops would be insane.
That would be awesome. You
That would be
totally should do
fire.
that.
Why I can't get the afro that big by the middle.
You got to do something funny so you can divert attention away from Jameis Winston when he's asking questions.
That's so true. Because that's the thing with Super Bowl media week, right? You're always trying to like pick me to ask a question.
And then you got to fight with Jameis about it.
And it's like, and you could even get like the player can look at you, be like, "Yeah, you're next," and then Jameis be like, and
That is
just appear and
the absolute scariest. The absolute scariest feeling is when you're waiting to ask a question and Jameis shows up. Just
because you know you're not getting one.
he's right behind me, isn't he? And then he asks, "What's your favorite color?"
Yeah.
And you're like in the shot or something. So you're like, what are you gonna do? Do you like?
Fuck.
I just look forward, just like half grinning. It's like, all right.
I go to another podium and bust in with the boys. It's there. Fuck.
You've got film cut up to show the and Jameis shows up.
I'm trying to ask him some question I thought of 30 seconds ago. It's not happening.
Anyway, let's get into this issues with contenders. I'm thinking we start at the top and work down.
Sure. Why the hell not?
Matt, who'd you say was number one? Was it Seattle? Or was it
the Rams?
The Rams are number one?
It's the Rams by a pretty wide margin, frankly.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me.
You know, I wanted to mix it up a little bit because we've talked about a lot of these teams and the issues that they have. So I don't want to just say like the exact same things that we've been repeating about them on a lot of episodes. Is it fair to say that just like if we're picking something from the defense and like the back seven, I think Forbes might be their biggest issue. Maybe we could say the back seven as a whole and like it's kind of a pass rush heavy team, but I think there's a lot of moments where sure Forbes, like when he's in zone and there's great pressure, like he's made some plays this season. I don't want to take that away from him, but there's also been a lot of moments where if he can get isolated, he's somebody you absolutely can pick on. That was both true when they played the Eagles and A.J. Brown went off after having a slow start, and against the Panthers, there were multiple times where McMillan was able to get him one-on-one, and that was a mismatch. On top of that, I think his run support is not always consistent. He had some really bad moments in the Panthers game that kind of let them climb back into that one. So maybe you could say like you could broaden it and not just attack like one guy. But for me, my biggest concern is a team can get like one of their superstar receivers going against Los Angeles and get a couple of big plays and knock them out. Because I think certainly right now, Los Angeles, they're the favorites.
Yeah, they're the favorites for a reason. It's pretty hard to find a weakness with them. They're, statistically a top 5 or the best offense in the league right now. And they're a top 5 defense as well, statistically. So poking holes in their case, like, yeah, weak link at corner, definitely at the top of that list as an obvious flaw. They have one of the highest rushing success rates in all of football history. All right, not just football right now, but football history. You've got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams just dunking on people, especially Nacua. I mean, Nakua's got to be the best receiver in the league right now.
I think JSN's right there with him.
Yeah, JSN's right there with him, but like, man, you think about Nacua and like the size and the yak.
But JSN is cooking on Seattle, man. I feel like you're overestimating cool ass highlight plays where it's like you're really dunking on somebody a little bit. Because JSN is, I think, in a worse situation and more productive. I think he deserves some credit for that. I mean, Puka's a fair choice for one. I'm not going to sit here and say like it's impossible, but at worst, JSN is right there with them.
Oh,
at
yes.
least with how they played
100.
this season for sure.
Yeah, saying JSN is not wrong at all. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy how good they are with Dotson and the running back duo and Stafford and the receivers and the defense as a whole. I even think their secondary, like, yeah, you can pick on them 100%, like the Panthers did on some of those 4th down man plays. But like overall, like their rotations and their kind of stickiness in zone coverage overall has been like pretty impressive to me on the back end. They're top 10 in tight window throws forced. So like they're usually kind of right there, even in the secondary. So it's like
that's why I struggle to say
hard.
the back seven. I mean, I think there's some truth to that. Yeah, of course the Rams front four and pass rush is the strong point. But like last year it was kind of like everything. And coming into this year, I thought it would be similar, and it's just not. Like, they're absolutely not as weak as they were, even though I don't know if, like, the back end is, like, total world beaters or anything. So, yeah, as long as you keep, like, Devontae Adams and Stafford and Puka and some of the guys who maybe, like, lean a little bit more injury-prone healthy, I think they're the heavy favorites to win the Super Bowl. Not, like, overwhelmingly crazy at the moment, but after a tough loss to Carolina and maybe looking like they could lose to the Lions, I think they've kind of stabilized their place as the complete team in the NFL.
That's the complete. Yeah,
I think. Go ahead.
They're gonna probably end up. I'm looking at the current playoff picture. It's looking like they're probably just gonna play Seattle in the divisional round. The way things are currently shaping, because there will be the 1 seed. Seattle is almost certainly going to be the best wild card team. And then they're going to probably end up playing the NFC South champion. So then they're just going to play.
So then what?
They're just going to probably end up playing the Rams in the. So what?
What would
Probably.
probably be Carolina versus Rams rematch, and that'll be a movie.
That would be a movie.
That would be a.
Absolutely. There's another issue with them is I think their biggest issue is their field goal kicking. They've only made 75% of their field goals this year. That's the second worst mark in the league. Only had New York. They've only made 72.7% of their field goals under 40 yards. I think they're 8 for 11. So like they can miss really easy field goals more. It's more likely that happens to them than it is for any other contender, probably. That could get them. The other stat that I dug up about them is when I watched them versus the Lions, I thought you expect this all-time pass rush with them, right? That is the strength that the whole team maybe is Turner and Fisk and Verse and Young. And when I watched them versus the Lions, I thought they looked a little bit disorganized, kind of getting off the line sometimes. I think Verse isn't quite having the season that he had last year. And like, he really is kind of a one-trick pony in some ways. I think the pass rush, when I dug through some of the numbers, is a little overrated. Not that they're bad, but like a little bit overrated. Like Next Gen Stats charts get off, like how fast they cross the line of scrimmage. The Rams have the 6th slowest get off when not blitzing. So just 4. They're not like super electric off the line. They're 20th in time to pressure with no blitz, 10th in overall pressure rate with no blitz, 17th in sack rate with no blitz. So like, I do think that they need some of those sim pressures and blitzes maybe a little bit more than you'd think. Again, those aren't like horrible numbers or anything. With the blitz, like overall, I guess, like if you include both, they're 9th in pressure rate and 13th in sack rate, according to the NFL Pro Stats. And when they are blitzing, they're 5th fastest in time to pressure, 5th in overall pressure rates, 13th in sack rate. So they're good at blitzing. So maybe it's not a problem because they stunt, they blitz, they sim pressure, and it's all very well done. So like they might be able to go through the playoffs and have it not be a problem, but you know, they're 23rd in sack rate since week 5 was the other stat that I found, and they were 3rd in the first month of the season. So they could get a little bit better, I think, in the pass rush. That's not quite like Browns with Myles Garrett level stuff from them.
No, but they don't have Myles Garrett, so
exactly.
Next team would be Seattle, which I feel like
Thursday.
They do play this Thursday, and that should be a good game.
No Devontae probably, but they did bring back Stafford's hyperbolic chamber, so maybe he can't come back.
So we're cool. I would say the run game overall for Seattle is their big weakness. They've been kind of around average since week 10. I think they're like 19th in EPA per play, but I think part of that is just they've played some mediocre run defenses, and the ones that they've played that are good, like the Colts or the Rams, they haven't done a particularly great job against, under 4 yards a carry in both of those games. And in the Colts game, like, Grover Stewart has given it to Anthony Bradford, and that interior offensive line, I don't think Zabel's been dominant whatsoever. I think Barner can lose some assignments as well that cost him on some of these outside runs. So on the whole, it's frustrating because they're a team that leans so much on the run game, but I just still don't think it's like rounding out to be one of the stronger units for the team. Whereas maybe I look at a Patriots, who we'll talk about in a little bit, and their run game was really bad to start the year, and they've leaned into running the ball a ton, even though they have a quarterback who's playing really well and whatnot. But I feel like they've started to trend a little bit more in the right direction, although who knows, maybe it's because Travion Henderson just had like 2 giant runs against a bad Bills rush defense. But still. Right. So I think for Seattle, I mean, that's part of it. The other thing that you could say for them is obviously like the Darnold under pressure stuff, right? When he's not always bad with that stuff, but if you give him a weird look and you get him hot right away, he has a tendency to get a little choppy and make a bad decision or throw a ball that you can get your hands on. And I mean, like last time they played the Rams, he had 4 interceptions or whatever. Right. So I still think like overall Darnold isn't the weakness and like the big weakness or anything. And I feel like their passing game has been super efficient for the most part. But yeah, those are 2 pretty decent concerns on offense. Now their defense is great, of course. And if they were going to have to go through LA to get to the conference championship game, I might favor somebody else as like the number 2 Super Bowl contender. I just think that's a tough path, but who knows? Maybe they can just go knock off the Rams and take but then maybe it's flipped and they have to go through the Rams anyway. They just get him at home. Right. But I don't know. I don't think they're crazy. I don't think they're a crazy pick as the number 2. And I mean, if Vegas has got it at some point, I kind of trust Vegas on this.
Yeah, they got better special teams than the Rams, and they might have a better defense overall. Like when you look at the way
99% of the game.
Yeah, exactly. And with the way this season is going, no doubt. Yeah, I think the defense and the special teams is there, but their offensive unit as a whole has kind of been sinking like a stone since that Rams game, honestly. Darnold to me is definitely something to highlight as like, I don't know if I trust you. Like 16 turnover worthy plays this year, 11 interceptions. It's the 5th highest turnover worthy play rate in the league. He's only ahead of Geno, Daniel Jones, Baker Mayfield, and Tua, who just got benched. And maybe we can talk a little bit about that at the end. But that to me is a bit concerning, is like what we saw at the end of last year included, and just how many kind of interceptable passes he's had this year. I don't think it's crazy to say that Darnold is one of the principal concerns that you have. They're also 12th in EPA this year when you look at their gun, like no play action moments. They are not if they were to get behind and Darnold had to throw them back into the game, like how
it's definitely different than being super run heavy. Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from.
And where are they since like week maybe 9? I think they've even gotten worse there. Let me look it up real quick.
I'm curious as we get in, we'll be doing the locks later this episode. Are any of you considering the Rams as a lock here against Seattle?
No, not without Adams. I think it was close last time. I mean, Seattle came down to just a long field goal, but just a field goal, and they could have knocked him off last time, even with all the interceptions. I really don't think you can overlook the defense. I think the Seattle is a very real contender in the NFC.
Their defense is like arguably the best in the NFL level. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, when we think about, we'll get to the other contenders, but yeah, I think if you've got a defense that good and you aren't like completely inept offensively, of course you've got a chance. They're not the favorite, I think, obviously the Rams are more complete on offense, so it makes sense. But is it impossible they knock off Los Angeles? Like, yeah, it's tough to beat a team twice. It's definitely tough to beat them 3 times. So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
And Shaheed, we're getting into the territory, guys, where Shaheed needs his one big play in the Super Bowl to be worth the.
There you go.
We are getting there. If they beat the Rams in the divisional round,
and if Shaheed has one big play in the divisional round to beat the Rams, and then they go on to win the Super Bowl, and he goes 0-0 in both the conference championship and the Super Bowl, honestly, you probably could make the same argument just as much. So yeah, he's due.
I do think that JSN being their only receiver is another valid shout for this. Like, we've seen some of the Justin Jefferson performances in the playoffs, right? And they're not necessarily his fault. He's getting triple teamed every play in the playoffs, but some of these defenses do have better plans to take them away than the Tennessee Titans, probably, So them being kind of one-dimensional, the offensive line, Darnold being, pumpkin mode, like all of these things make me think like the defense is going to have to go on a really Legion of Boom type run for them to be a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah. But that's not impossible.
There are worse defenses to hope for from.
Right.
The next team up would be the Buffalo Bills. Actually, the Broncos and the Bills are tied in odds at the moment from what I can tell, but we'll go with Buffalo. I have decided to go a different direction for this one than what you might think. Obviously, we've talked a lot about how their rushing defense is bad. I actually think their biggest weakness is the pass catchers. The rushing defense is bad. I think it makes you susceptible to allowing teams that have poor rushing offenses this year to get away with being able to run the ball on you finally and keep things very open, which is frustrating. Or it allows teams that are dominant running the ball to say, hey, we're going to play clock control or whatever. But I think having poor pass catchers means against these great defenses, you might not have the ability to just say, Josh Allen, go out and get it done and try to win us a shootout. And I'll be real with you. I don't know if you guys have seen this stuff on Twitter about like, no Patrick Mahomes, no Joe Burrow, possibly no Lamar.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Allen, if not now, then when? And look, I think if I had to pick MVP right now, because you talked about it the other day, Blaiden, I've been thinking about it. I think I'd lean May at the moment, but I think Allen is right there with him. I think they honestly kind of have relatively similar arguments, but that's beside the point. I think Allen's had a great year. And I think people are like, they know what they're doing when they say that. They know that they're setting him up because you can totally see how this thing might play out. And like, we're trying to predict like from a ways out here or whatever, but you can see the Bills are in the playoffs and they go up against like one of these defenses like the Broncos or the Texans or something like that, where the pass rush is going to be really good, so it's going to be super tough to hold onto the ball for a long time and go scramble drill mode and try to create. So you're relying on Brandon Cooks versus Patrick Surtain. You're relying on Josh Palmer versus Derek Stingley. And all of a sudden, if those weapons aren't able to, get yourself a bunch of separation, or if the play action isn't hitting and getting some of these tight ends running free, then there might not be a lot of options for Josh, and he might get sacked a lot or throw some intercept or have a tough game where the offense isn't necessarily talentless around him. The offensive line is good, and James Cook is a great player, but isn't built to necessarily succeed against one of those defenses. And then all it would take is like, Bo Nix to hit some big shots out of structure or whatever, which he totally did against the Packers, and he totally could again against a Bills defense that is only all right, and they could be very comfortable just kind of trying to run the ball and grind against them a little bit. And all of a sudden you can step back and say, wow, Bo Nix just outplayed Josh Allen in the playoffs. What happened to Josh Allen? And they really said that he was the MVP. You can totally see what's being set up right there. And I have a hard time believing the people saying it don't know exactly what they're doing.
Oh, yeah. I think Josh is such a bona fide MVP candidate right now. It's not even funny. And when you say it, like Orlovsky is getting cooked right now for saying that Stafford and Allen are like neck and neck. And the people are like, here comes the PR team of Allen. Like, bro, the laundry list of problems with the Bills is so big.
Right.
In a way that it is just not with the Rams. And those offenses are neck and neck, and Stafford and Allen's numbers are neck and neck. Like, to me, the choice is easy. It's Josh.
And like you look at like the problems the Chiefs had this year, like they were like trying to get back into the playoffs and really couldn't pick up the slack, right? Even before Mahomes got hurt.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Ravens. They've been struggling to kind of get back into the playoff picture. But a lot of those teams, the Bills, Chiefs, and Ravens, we were all talking about, they all have problems right now. And the Bills are the team that we're talking about as third in Super Bowl odds right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little tricky because what people can say is like, well, the Ravens if Lamar had been healthy, or the Bengals if Burrow had been healthy, or now the Chiefs if Mahomes had stayed healthy. But we all know that even with Lamar healthy, the Ravens haven't been themselves. Even with Burrow healthy, the Bengals are not doing anything. Even with Mahomes healthy, the Chiefs were looking like they were going to move to 6-8 anyway, or at least had a real chance to. I don't know if Mahomes would have gotten it, on that final drive.
And the Bills
or whatever.
aren't healthy. The Bills aren't healthy.
The Bills aren't healthy, and they're really not some greatly like constructed roster or anything. So I'm frustrated by that. I'm frustrated by the stuff around Allen and calling it all PR. And what confuses me is like, okay, I understand at some point we expect these great guys to go out and win rings or whatever, but like Allen's been great in the playoffs for the most part. He's been mostly excellent, right?
Yes.
It's not like with Lamar where you have to more make the argument that they've had some tough breaks and like there's been some dumb fumbles and like, yeah, he's had some mediocre performances, but it's a small sample size of games and really they're not quite as bad as you think. Allen he's like lost some great performances and horrifying, truly not his fault, didn't see the ball again fashion and whatever.
Right.
So I don't know. I can see that coming and I feel like
the overtime rules because of him. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I think the pass catchers are what worry me more than the run defense. If you could tell me right now, would you rather have like a average run defense or just average like receiver room? I would take the receiver room and be like, now we can just go and try to win a shootout or whatever. That's
dude, especially opinion. Because there's a very real chance that their path to just the AFC Championship game could go through Houston and Denver. That would
if they had to play both of them, I think both those teams are such bad matchups for the Bills. I think great secondaries like that with the pass rush too to like keep Allen contained. Honestly, like I really, really don't know if Buffalo is going to be as consistent as they were. Like they could figure out the Patriots. I don't know if you can just figure out like Will Anderson being great or Benito just being awesome or whatever, right? So it's not that it's impossible. I mean, I think Allen's great, and maybe their run game is really grinding at that point, and the play action opens up, and I'm overestimating how locked down the receivers will be or whatever, But
no, the receivers, there's no help coming for the receivers, man. There's just no help coming for the receivers. I have the defense written down as their biggest issue, and again, specifically the run defense, as we've talked about, 31st in DVOA. They're just so slow. Either it's a rookie back there who processes slowly, or it's an old guy who processes quickly but is slow. Like the first Drake May touchdown last week, it's like read option, he keeps it, he's got a lead blocker out in front of him. Like Shaq Thompson and Jordan Poyer diagnose it beautifully. They're flowing with it immediately. Yep. Does it matter? No.
90.
Drake May runs right by him. Like they're so slow, it doesn't matter. And like Cole Bishop, he's got some things some traits that I like, some physical abilities and just overall physicality that I like. But sometimes he just is slow to react to these things. And you saw him like break out a bunch of trick plays last week, and they were all successful. And it's just it's a defense that lacks such speed. I mean, they had lineups out there for the second Drake May touchdown. The lineup on the defensive line was like Epinesa, Daquan Jones, like Sanders, and like another defensive tackle. Like they just can't always have Bosa and Rousseau out there every snap. And when those two are out, it is the Bills have. When I was checking the Rams, the Bills have the slowest get off when not blitzing, and it doesn't surprise me. Like they just really miss Ed Oliver. they really miss Christian Benford and Terrell Bernard last week. Like, they just cannot, if those guys are banged up, like, any playoff team is going to be able to move the ball.
Well, I don't know if any playoff team, this is where I agree with Matt, is because there are 2 AFC playoff teams that are top 10 rushing offenses by EPA and success rate. And one of them is the Buffalo Bills. The other is the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Like, Denver is slightly above average. The Chargers are about average. But then, like, the Patriots, Jags, and Texans are just, like, not the most elite rushing offenses in the league this year.
But here's the thing. I don't think this is a situation when you have a terrible rushing defense. It's not that, well, only when you play the great rushing teams that you're in a bad spot. It's that you can play teams that usually can't run the ball, and you can't like stop them from finding some success that way and opening everything else up. Their defense is just not that good. It's banged up, and it's just not been that good this year.
If Oliver gets back for the playoffs and Bernard and Benford get healthy, like, maybe that's enough juice for Allen to make it. Like, I don't think it's impossible.
Oliver able to come back? I thought
he's kind of a long shot, but there are whispers of like he might be able to get back out there. He tore his bicep though, so like I don't know, but maybe if they made it all the way to the Super Bowl, like, they're leaving the window open. So like maybe there's a chance that the defense like becomes good enough, because I don't know, Benford is really good and Bernard is like really, really good. So with those two being out, it does change the defense. And I do think Rousseau and Bosa, when they're out there, is a pretty good edge rushing duo. Like, it might be just enough to finagle something. But
I maybe I've over exaggerated just how like bad of a spot they're in. I do think, unfortunately, a couple of the top odds teams in the AFC are just not great matchups for them. I think
we saw them lose to Houston. I agree that they're totally gettable, and this is the worst Bills team. But I also think like I do think Allen does have a real shot at a ring this year as well. Like, as bad as
sure, but the issue that I'm taking is this idea that like if they don't win a ring, we can preemptively say it was Josh Allen's fault without even seeing the. I mean, obviously that's, to be fair, like, that'll be the narrative no matter good. Sure. I'm saying it's wrong.
It is wrong. No, it is wrong. This is not a great Bills roster with the wide receivers. The last thing I'll say about them, I wrote down some stat lines of running backs against them this year. Devon Achane, 174 yards, 2 touchdown game. Henderson, 148 yard, 2 touchdown game. Bijan Robinson had 170 yards, 1 touchdown. Derrick Henry had 169, 2 touchdowns, and Sean Tucker had 106 yards, 2 touchdowns at different points in this season. So like, if you're a running back playing the Bills, there is a good chance that you can get 160 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. No receiving even taken into account in any of those stat lines.
We want to move on to the Broncos then?
Yeah.
They're a little bit tougher to pick
really
a weakness for. It's not necessarily that I think Denver is just so like dominant across the board as like, I don't know, the Rams or whatever, but I do think their defense is fantastic. I just think like both their rushing game and their passing game are kind of funky and more around league average rather than being like a great passing team that has a horrible run game, or like they've got a top 5 quarterback and their offensive line is the worst in the league, or something as drastic as that. I mean, the two things that come to mind, like, yeah, they aren't that great at running the ball. It's about average, and Nix is kind of up and down. He's had moments, particularly with his pocket presence, like we've talked about before, where he's bailing from the pocket all the time. And then he has other moments where like he does a good job getting outside of the pocket and creating and being frustrating the defenses. So maybe you feel like if you're up and down and you have to go win like 4 big games in a row, you're worried one down one can cost you and that'll be it. And maybe you say, like in that Packers game, he threw a couple of interceptable passes. Well, the one deep that McKinney dropped was like really rough. That was a bad one for sure.
I think Nix is a clear weakness still. There's been major whiplash with his reputation, I think, these last few weeks of, after the Raiders game, many, including myself, just out on him, right? And I've been moved significantly since that Raiders game, but like, he has not gone from a weakness to a strength. He's gone from like, you're not going to win the Super Bowl with him to like, well, That's where I'm at. He has the lowest passer rating in the league throwing intermediate passes. He's thrown 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, under a 50% completion rate in the 10 to 19 yard area. He hit that one to Troy Franklin for a touchdown last week, right? Unbelievable throw, one of the best of his career, no doubt about it. But it can't be like you see that and you're just like shocked to see it happen. You know what I mean? Like he layered an intermediate pass guy. Like we haven't seen that from him before, and now he's starting to hit it. So like, holy cow, right? Like maybe the dam has broken and he's going to start hitting that all the time. But like, if you feel like you don't see that throw often with the Broncos, it's because you don't. It's because he doesn't hit it very often. And he had other opportunities after that to throw those passes, and they didn't get hit. And he did, like, I don't know. There were more flaws in that passing attack that's getting in that game than is talked about, I think, today. Like, they were really conservative in the first half, like super conservative with Knicks and the routes they were running and the screens, and like one person running a hitch and everybody else like blocking, basically. Like, it's not exactly a well fleshed out, you know, puncturing zones type of passing offense like the one the Rams have had.
It's kind of funky and more like middle of the pack, not unworkable. Because Nick's getting out of the
was really, really good out of structure.
Nick's does a lot of good stuff out of structure, and even when he's bailing a lot from the pocket, at least he's not taking a lot of sacks.
Yeah.
You can work with that. And especially with like Sean Payton, who obviously like wants to play, I have a great defense, let's control things ball as much as possible. Like it's nice to not have a guy back there. Not taking sacks is game managing as much as like not throwing interceptions, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say Knicks, but I think you could also say that the run game isn't really dominant. I think it's just a middle of the pack offense. I think that's just where you land with these guys.
I think the run game is also like way worse than the numbers show, because Dobbins was really efficient and Harvey is terrible. Like Harvey is not good at all. He has a 36% success rate behind that offensive line. J.K. Dobbins was at 48.4. He is at negative 0.13 EPA per attempt. Dobbins was at 0.7. So like just huge, massive differences. Dobbins was at 5 yards per attempt. Harvey's at 3.8. Like it's rough with him. He fumbled versus the Packers on that first drive, right? He had plays where he was one-on-one with the safety and like went completely side to side and almost tore his lineman's ACL, like juking into his lineman instead of taking that safety on. Like he wants to bounce everything. He never falls forward. Like it is bad with him at running back. Their success rate getting downhill is going to be scary. The fact that like, because it's if they played the Bills, like what would win? Would Harvey get loose, or would the Buffalo finally have a game where they stop the run?
I think the bad rushing defenses lose. That's my opinion, because
they still
it's
do
really
have
not.
Yeah.
If the offensive line is up there crushing as well, if that's the strong suit and it's on the running back, I think eventually it just becomes too easy on the RB.
Plus Knicks would be able to get away from Shaq Thompson.
Yeah, shout out to Shaq Thompson.
So want to hear a very interesting Denver Broncos stat?
No.
Sure.
Since week 10, they're a top 10 offense in the NFL by EPA and success rate. But if you just go only week 10, which is against the Houston Texans, they have the 26th out of 28 ranked EPA per play offense and the 24th out of 28 ranked success rate offense in the NFL.
That's just week 10. That's just their game.
That is how bad their offense was against the Houston Texans.
And they played Mills in that game. So if they rematched, I definitely would like to see whose offense is more fleshed out between the Texans and Broncos, because they're both like flawed in different spots.
Yeah. Well, the Texans had a top 10 offense by EPA and success rate in that game, which it's Mills, but.
Well, speaking of the Texans, they're the next team. And the Broncos did win that. So we should talk about the Texans then, if that's what you guys want to get into. I still think it's the offensive line, but I don't think it's as much of a disaster as it was last year. I mean, last season, it truly was like, how is it even possibly this bad at the NFL level? Like, these guys don't look like they've ever played with each other type of stuff. Stunts and sim pressures were just absolutely cooking them, on top of not being talented enough. I still don't think they're great. I mean, Irsay's like, I think he's like top 5 in pressures allowed this season for a tackle, which is not awesome. He had a really tough game against the Titans, and Arden Key got him like with speed, got him with power. I just feel like his balance isn't that great overall, but the passing offense has been able to survive it somewhat. I think it's giving Stroud more of a chance, and Stroud, he's been a little bit up and down this year. We've talked about it before, but with a great defense, I don't think they're so far out of it in terms of like where the offensive line is at that they can't go on a run and, I don't know, make the AFC Championship game, rematch the Broncos, and go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, their offensive line is definitely a problem. The running backs are also really rough.
Their run game isn't good.
Woody Marks and Nick Chubb are both banged up, and those guys aren't like stellar backs to begin with anyway. So it's just they need to be healthier there, and they just need better talent there at running back. But the receivers are really good with when they're all healthy. Collins and Higgins and Hutchinson. I even think Christian Kirk's like a solid like wide receiver 4 there. So
yeah, the defense gives them their ceiling, obviously, and then Stroud, I think, adds on to that with Collins. But man, outside of Stroud and Collins, like, it really is a decrepit roster. Their line might be a little bit better from a pass blocking perspective, but like they are still just a dog shit offensive line, to be honest. Like Shaq Mason has been a bit of a pleasant surprise, and like Woody Marks has really helped them with these blitz looks, and like he can just take on the end, and then everybody slides, and like boom, it's clean, it's simple, like it's easy to handle with some of this running back protection stuff. So like there are some improvements, but they've blown 186 blocks this year according to Sports Info Solutions. That's the second most in the league behind the Chargers. They have 14 holding penalties run blocking, which is the most in the league this year. That's basically won every game, a 15-yard penalty, right?
Right.
On top of a run game, right? Their running backs average the lowest yards after contact per attempt in the league. They break the 4th fewest tackles in the league, and they can't block, which is bad. They have 93 blown blocks in the run game, and the second most is the Seahawks with 75. That's a huge gap. 75 to 93, that's the same as the gap between 2nd and 11th place. So you never want to be at the receiving end of one of those stats. So like, really, Stroud is going to get blitzed and swamped like he is all year, and it just depends like how many points the defense allowed, and how many, if he can get like 2 or 3 big shots to Nico and like 1 to somebody else, and like navigate pressure at like a decent level, they can win ugly. They can certainly win ugly, but the line and the run game really is making it an uphill battle for them without a doubt.
Yeah, I think that's a simple one. They have gone
5 straight games allowing 20 or fewer points. So shout out.
It's a great
their defense is just ridiculously good. Like I think the Broncos have a good defense, and I think Houston's in a different
It's not as good as the Texans, not quite.
Yeah, which is scary.
Yeah. That brings us to the Eagles next, I believe. And this is another one where I feel like I'm going to go a little bit different than what we usually talk about, not too off the beaten path. I'm going to say their biggest weakness is their offensive line health. Not having that offensive line at 100% screws everything up. And like, yes, Jalen Hurts has some issues throwing against the zone, like big issues, and it's a huge problem and whatnot. But without this O-line at 100%, they can't really effectively run the ball, even with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. I mean, that's a ridiculous issue to have 2 talented runners like that and not be a force on the ground with any sort of consistency. I think the path to the Eagles getting back to the Super Bowl, even though it kind of seems dim right now and they're not nearly as good as they were last year, if they could get closer to 100%, if Dickerson and Lane Johnson and Jurgens, if everyone can get back to full strength, I don't see any reason why their run game couldn't be closer to one of the best in the league right now. And if that happens and you get a couple of good matchups, like you can see them back in the NFC Championship game, I think. So whether or not they go on a run with their great defense, I think largely comes down to how good the offensive line can be and how healthy it can get. That's my thought.
Yeah,
it's
for
really
sure.
Crazy. They're only averaging 4.1 yards per attempt this year.
It's insane with the rush, with how good they were last year too. And like on some level, it's simple. It's like, okay, well, you know, Dickerson's been banged up. Lane Johnson's had the foot issue. Of course, that's 2 of your best 10 players. Of course, you're going to struggle mightily when they're out. And if you have a chance to get them back, yeah, it's going to completely change everything. I don't think the Eagles defense is as dominant as maybe some of the, like, you know, the Texans or whatever, but it's definitely good enough to where if you have a truly strong run game and you have receivers that are good enough to like keep defenses honest and hit some shots with, like they absolutely could win some 1-score games and get hot and surprisingly like make another run.
I top 5, I'd say.
I kind of like the sneaky Eagles run right now.
I do too. I'm kind of like, I'm very much on board.
I'm on board too, because yes, it is the run game, and I think they've been really terrible at it. Like I said, Dickerson has looked like a shell of himself all year. They just get worse and worse at right guard. I think Kelsey retiring kind of in the middle of this run doesn't get talked about enough. And the downgrade that Juergens is, like, it never gets talked about. And then Lane Johnson gets banged up on top of that. They are top 5 in run blocking blown blocks right there with the Texans, and they're 4th in run block blown rate. So they really are just soup in the middle of the line for Saquon Barkley to read. And then they never get under center. They never help out the run game that way. Right. They have kind of these awkward angles from shotgun all the time, and they don't even involve Hurts that much as a runner anymore. So it's like, well, why are you doing this? Last game against the Raiders, they went under center more often than they ever had this season. And I think that could be helpful for them against zone. I think that could be helpful for their run game. I think that could be helpful for everybody involved, honestly. So if they can get back to that and pass the ball a little bit better, run the ball a little bit better, just be a little bit more diverse on offense, have a play action answer and let Hurts air it out, I think that they could win a weaker NFC. But we'll see. They did beat the Rams already.
Their path to the AFC Championship is almost guaranteed to go through the Packers, Niners, and Bears. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If Seattle and LA is on the other side, they absolutely could end up in the NFC Championship game. If Seattle and LA are on that side and it's the Niners, the Packers, and the Bears, I'd have to see how the health of the offensive line is. But if you told me Dickerson and Johnson were good to go and that was their side, like, yeah, I'm definitely picking them to go to the NFC Championship game. And if they go against the Rams, like, I might favor the Rams in that game, but Philadelphia's had their number for a minute, man. They keep pulling those games off. And they get in the Super Bowl and they're going up against some other team that's like, we got a great defense and some issues on offense. It's like, why couldn't the Eagles be the team that comes out on top? It's not hard to see. I agree.
Yeah. Then we could talk to Jalen Hurts again at the Super Bowl. We didn't even talk to him last time, so...
I talked to him. I just didn't. It was kind of more like off the record, like just between two friends type deal. So I don't really want to get into what we said to each other.
Who do you guys think the next team is?
Is it the Packers?
It's the Patriots.
Oh,
okay. That's kind of. I'm surprised to see them this low here.
I think it's valid. I think that this is a decent. I think this is a decent placement. I think the Patriots are good, but I think it's kind of like lying to sit here and say that there aren't at least a decent number of things that you could pick here. Like their wide receivers, I also think are an issue. I mean, if you have to go up against these great AFC defenses, Surtain on Mac Hollins, just not a matchup that I love, right? I mean, Lassiter on whoever. It's like, yeah, I don't think they're quite as bad as Buffalo's outside receiver options, but I don't think they're like above average by any means. And I think you could also say that the way their pass rush is played, although maybe you feel like they could get healthier. So I just feel like the overall roster talent here is maybe a little lacking, and I think that shows up in a couple of different units. But I don't think they're so far off that they aren't like capable of winning a couple of big games or whatever.
Sure.
It's just frustrating, like a Bills team that I feel like you really could have gotten, like the pass rush just gave out and just let Allen go and get that thing.
Mm-hmm. They don't have a defensive end they can really feature, which is a problem. Like Harold Landry has had a good season, no doubt about it, but Harold Landry isn't quite, as you get on in the playoffs, he's not someone who's guaranteed to like cook Mike McGlinchey or anything like that. And then Clavon Chase on Garrett Bowles in this hypothetical on the other matchup, like that's not even going to be close. Like their ability to rush the passer from the edges and get quick pressure from the edges, force fumbles from the edges, to me is just below Super Bowl caliber. They're 19th in pressure rate this year. It scares me to be below average in that category if you're them now. Yeah. And then on behind them, it's like you got like Gibbons and Spillane and Ellis in the linebacker room. Like they play a lot of man coverage, and that's great when maybe it's Marcus Jones and Christian Gonzalez, but other players on this team I think can get beat in space, or they can be a little bit overzealous, like biting on the first thing they see. The safeties certainly are like that, Woodson and Hawkins. Like, to me, this defense isn't fully there yet. They're a lot like the Bills, where it's like, man, there's this great quarterback who can do a lot under pressure, but his receivers aren't the craziest thing. And then I just think like the team speed and the pass rush on defense and like the linebackers in space are just all so much a question mark, where it's like, man, it's not quite the defense you think of when you think of like, oh yeah, win it in the Super Bowl. So definitely that. And then the line too, like they're getting Campbell back. But really like Michael Onwenu is really the only guy where you're like, that's a really great playoff offensive lineman, probably. Like Campbell, we'll see what he can do when he's back from injury, playing a playoff schedule. And I think he's had a good rookie year, so maybe he holds his own, but
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot about the team that seems kind of B tier instead of like S tier.
Yeah, Theo, you mentioned this last year and you've mentioned it this year. You think podium players? How many podium players do the Patriots have?
It would be May, and then it would be Barmore, and then it would be Gonzalez. Those guys you really can think of as, but then it's like Marcus Jones, it's Campbell. It's Onwenu, like I said, he's super underrated, I think. But it's just it would be they're kind of ahead of schedule on their rebuild, right? They were a 3-win team last year, a 4-win team last year. Like they really did an overhaul in the offseason. And not saying that they can't make it, but I mean, I think the Bills game
championship game last year.
Right.
And I think that this roster is better than what the Commanders had last year, if I'm being completely honest. And like, I think Henderson's come along here and he's a real home run hitter. And I wonder if that can like continue to be the case and make a big difference for him. I'm not like, I think 7 is a pretty fair placement for him overall, but it's not like I'm sitting here saying like, what are some of the weaknesses of this roster? I can't think of anything. Like you can.
Yeah, you can.
Can't think of anything, man. Nothing.
I think I close my eyes and I think of Deion Dawkins literally belly flopping Clavon Chase on last week. Did you see that? He like threw his hand up and he like threw his belly on him and just like crazy. Like it was literally like a King K. Rool Super Smash Bros move.
Right. That's one of those plays you watch and you're like, I'm glad I'm in my house and not.
I'm glad I'm in my house
right now.
That was so good.
Line, man. Well, before we get into the Green Bay Packers here, I got to give a quick shout out to Stay Hot's newest sponsor, GLD Jewelry. They're sending out some stuff to us and we're super excited for it because really, dude, they've got some super high quality stuff. Buying men's jewelry can be such a nightmare, especially around the holidays. Everything has always felt cheap or insanely overpriced, but GLD's actually figured it out. And that's why once we get that fresh ice in, It's going to be a game changer. The weight, the clasp, the stone setting, it just hits different when you put it on, instantly elevates the fit. And what really separates GLD is that they make real gold pieces that are built to last without breaking the bank. Every stone is hand set, the shine is on another tier, and it's durable, waterproof, sweat-proof, so you can wear it all the time without worrying about it. And they've got everything too. Chains, pendants, rings, earrings, fully iced out watches, and with over 2 million customers and 50,000 5-star reviews, it's easy to see why. You've seen GLD on guys like Justin Bieber, Micah Parsons, Kevin Durant, A$AP Rocky. This brand is everywhere, and since it's football season, they even have an official NFL team pendant. So if your team actually showed up or is going to show up in the playoffs, you can rep them properly. And right now, GLD is making holiday shopping easy. New customers get 50% off when you use the code STAYHOT, all one word, at GLD.com. That's 50% off everything with code STAYHOT at GLD.com. And after you check out, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and make sure you tell them that your favorite hotties sent you. All right, Theo, we're talking about the Green Bay Packers because they are technically next, but I really feel like you could throw like the Bears and the Lions here as well for like the NFC North.
Bruh.
Like, I get they're gonna all be lower in the Vegas odds or the FanDuel odds, but I don't know. I feel like it's just kind of whoever ends up winning the North should be the top of that list.
I just hate my life right now, bro. Like, you might as well throw the Packers off this list, in my opinion. Like, if you watch the Micah injury and are like, now's the time to buy low on the Green Bay Packers championship stock, like, you are throwing your money away. Trust me. Like, Micah is just everything I could have imagined and more this season. Like, and honestly, that Broncos game was like one of his finest games. Like, the fumble he forced on Harvey is probably the greatest defensive play I've seen a Packer make ever. And he did it on McGlinchey. He was not like a scrub run defender. He's rushing Garrett Bowles. He wins high side automatically. Like, his pursuit, his tenacity, his stoutness in the run game, like sideline to sideline defending screens. Like, the guy is all over the place. His get off is insane. Like, he wins instantly. He lost, I think, 1 rep all day to Quinn Miners, who got him pretty good. Outside of that, like, it's just domination the entire game. And then he gets hurt.
He's a great player.
He's a great player. Do you know where the Packers rank in, like, they're middle of the pack this season in time to pressure without blitzing? It's like, bro, we should be number 1. We should be up there with the Giants and the Browns, who are like number 1 and number 3. Like, there's just no reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers are in the top 10. Like, the Packers should be up there with them when they have a guy like Parsons, who is literally the fastest guy to get pressure in the history of playing professional. Maybe Lawrence Taylor was better. I wasn't there, but like, given the medical and just training and athleticism jumps, I think it's fair to say like Parsons is probably the fastest guy to get pressure in the history of the league, and we're middle of the pack in time to pressure. It's going to be so bad without him, guys. Like, This defense was underwhelming. If they had somebody, a defensive tackle to contain, or a power rusher who could like really take advantage of how he forces like Bo Nix or whoever else to step up by winning high side. If he had a good corner duo who could like feast on poorly thrown balls, like, but they don't have any of those things. They don't have any of those things. McKinney's a dog. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Cooper is a dog. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's probably not going to be the worst defense in the league the rest of the way, but like, it was already a little bit disappointing because the roster wasn't just totally filled out around Micah like I'd hoped. And I just think it's going to take so much from Jordan Love for them to be contenders. And like, I don't know, man. Like, what is the status of anybody else on the roster right now? Like, damn, everybody's a little banged up. When's Evan Williams going to be back at 100%? When's Tom going to be back at 100%? Like, Jordan Love will need to be like truly prime Rodgers the rest of the way for the Packers to win the Super Bowl. And maybe that's possible. I mean, he's played really, really well this season. Like, maybe he can just fucking ball out like that. But if he doesn't, like, they're just not winning a game.
Here's the thing, right? Like, on the roster, the Packers have a lot of podium players, Jordan Love, Tucker Kraft, Elton Jenkins, Devonta Wyatt, Micah Parsons, but like all these players I'm listing are on IR except for Love, you know?
Yeah.
And
McKinney's now are
yes.
McKinney is an absolute animal at safety.
Yes,
except he
McKinney's
can't
great,
catch an
Cooper's
interception.
great. You have those guys, but yeah, dude. Like all your podium players.
I just think this pass rush is about to become really, really toothless in a way that puts too much strain on everything else.
I will say I really did like appreciate Parsons chasing down of Bo Nix so many times, like when he gets out of the pocket compared to what Rashawn Gary was doing. Rashawn Gary is honest with himself on some of those plays where he's like, I don't think I'm gonna end up getting this guy. And they play the Bears again, right? Or no, they've already played the Bears.
Yeah, that's this week. No, they play the Bears this week.
I think against Caleb Williams, not having a Parsons to like go and chase him down.
Yeah, man.
Even if you don't get him, but just to speed him up is definitely going to be a big issue. And you could say their pass rush. That's what I had. You could say their defensive line as a whole if you want to. I mean, some of the defensive tackles like Wooden out there, 96. Oh my God, man. Yeah. I mean, I think the defense is going to become bottom 10 or whatever, most likely. And it's not impossible that with a passing attack that's super efficient that they go out there and get hot and go on a run. If maybe the Eagles are still banged up, an NFC Championship game, which we know the Packers are just so good in. But it's a lot easier to like close your eyes and imagine defense is trash, passing game is still really good. They hang around in some game against a solid team. I don't know, let's say like the 49ers or somebody like that. And then like Love throws one bad interception towards the end or something, or like he isn't like totally perfect like he needs to be. And then it's like,
I don't even care, man. Because I just don't want to lose out, to be dead honest with you. Like, I just want to win. What are we at? 9 wins. If we can get to 10 wins and not lose out, I'll be okay. So if we could win a playoff game, that would be absolutely fantastic right now. They are really
Bears,
really,
Ravens, Vikings. I think you can get one.
Bro, it's gonna be a dogfight each and every one of those games.
For sure.
For sure. I mean, unless 9 just goes back to the old 9 and not like the half decent 9. But even the last time we played the Vikings, like Parsons just getting buckets on Darisaw is like why we won that game. Like,
right.
It really helped when just no one could block him.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, Theo, but the Bears are probably going to win this division. The Lions might even find a way to knock you guys out, and so it'll be a tough path. It'll be a tough path. But if you can make the playoffs, I think you got a chance. That's all you need. Before we get into the Stay Hot locks here, of course, got to give a quick shout out to our boys at FanDuel, because first of all, the locks are brought to you by FanDuel, but you know how fast NFL games move. One big play and everything changes. That's why live betting on FanDuel is a game changer. With FanDuel, you can bet in real time while the game unfolds, score just flipped, jump on a brand new spread, or live money line. That wide receiver's heating up, bet the next touchdown score or total yards. Think that drive stalls in the red zone? Take a live field goal prop or fade the total. Live player props, team totals, drive results, updated spreads, next play markets, it's all there. It's fast, it's fun, and with FanDuel, your live bets move as quickly as the game does. So whether you're riding momentum or fading the hype, FanDuel puts you right in the middle of every moment. Visit FanDuel.com/podcast to download the app and bet the NFL live all season long. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Paid endorsement. Stay hot locks, boys. Things are looking pretty good for Matthew Sponhour and Blaiden Kirk. But for Theo Ash, he takes a bit of a back seat this week. Last week, Matt, you had 16 points and you locked the Jaguars, 49ers, and the Bears. Congratulations, you have 19 points. Theo, you had 13 points. You locked the Texans, the Panthers, and the Cowboys. You have 13 points. I had 16 points and I locked the Seahawks and the Eagles. I am at 18. Matt, you may select where you want
13,
to pick.
you said?
You're at 13.
Matt's at 19.
Matt's at 19. I'm at 18.
Okay.
You've got some.
I'm gonna take the first pick. I'm going to go Texans over Raiders.
I cannot hate that one.
Let's see.
I'm trying to type here. I'm thinking I might take. You know what? Theo, I'll give you the second pick here.
All right. I will take the Bills over the Browns.
That would have been my pick.
I think I thought there was a chance that maybe you wouldn't do that.
Nope.
But fair enough.
I think that is an easy second overall pick here, quite frankly.
Yeah. Well, you never know. So Theo, you're taking the Bills, and then I will take the Eagles over the Commanders with my first pick here. And then with my second pick, give me the. See, I don't want to get too crazy, but I feel like 49ers over Colts is a pretty safe bet. So that's where I'm going to go.
That's fair. I'm going to emotionally hedge right away and take the Bears over the Packers.
Okay. See,
that does open me up to the challenge pretty quick.
Does.
But
Bears over Packers, you said, huh?
Yep. And I think the Packers are favored for whatever reason. But
yeah, Matt, if you challenge this and it hits, you could basically win this week.
Yeah, I mean, it would be worth 2 points, right? And the Packers are favored. Hold on, I'm trying to look at. I mean, it's close, but I'm pretty sure that like even a 50-50 at 2 value here is pretty good with my second pick, especially considering like Texans Raiders is about as big of a lock as you can get. Kind of. Yeah, I actually think I don't hate this value, and just for fun, yeah, I'll challenge you and I'll take your Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Josh Jacobs, one of the best running backs in the NFL. LaFleur's got something special. Yeah, why not?
This could be dangerous for you, Theo. I mean, this is
fine. I'm baiting you guys in about bad challenges. So.
Well, this is honestly the perfect time for Matt to challenge. He's up 6 on you. So even if this doesn't hit, he would.
Well, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I'm not doing it because of how much I'm up on Theo. I'm doing it because I think it's analytically the right thing to do. And also, how much am I up on you?
You're up 1 on me.
Yeah, right. So that's the main thing to pay attention to.
I guess that's true. Don't pay attention to that, though. It's okay.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure taking this is right, but then I'm gonna be out for sure.
Yeah. Theo?
Yeah, so I'm gonna take the Lions over the Steelers.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the Patriots over the Ravens. And then I'm gonna be done. And then I'm gonna take the Bengals over the Dolphins.
That one I do like. I'm
gonna take all those.
Okay. You're getting aggressive, Theo. It's that time of year.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it. So if that hits, you will be up to 18. You'll be tied with me. So I wish you the very best of luck. The Stay Hot Locks this week, Matt, with 19 points, is taking the Texans and Packers. That is a challenge. I think the first challenge of the season.
We got to have one.
Oh, yeah.
Got to have at least one, right? I've seen people complain that there isn't enough incentive to challenge.
We will be changing the rules next year.
Yeah,
to make it a little bit different. I think
we can tweak things for sure. Theo with 13 points is locking the Bills, Bears, Lions, Patriots, and Bengals. And then I, Blaiden, am sitting here with 18 points, locking the Eagles and the 49ers. And so that brings us to the final section of today's episode, our Christmas song draft. I've been debating all day on how ridiculous and silly I want to get with my picks here.
you should just pick your 4 favorite songs and own them.
Yeah, but like, so this is, how often are you just like listening to Christmas songs though? Right?
It's a point I was trying to make in the group chat, and I was told I was Grinch hour. So I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna.
That's because you called every
discuss
Christmas
this
song Jolly Slop.
And it's true, bro. It's like, honestly, like I turned on a Christmas playlist because I feel like we've talked about this like years ago. And I was listening. I'm like, dude, I just like don't listen to Jingle Bell Rock. Nothing against it, but I'm not gonna be like.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, here comes Santa Claus. That's my favorite song, bro. Like
Those are
it
the
kind of is what it is.
Songs. Jingle Bell Rock is mid. So,
well, make a pick here because I got to go. So let's get into it. I'm sorry that I got to rush, but I told someone I'd move a couch.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll take the first pick then. And with the first pick, I'm going to take Christmas Eve by Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Don't know what that is, but sure. I will take Christmas Eve.
You don't know what that is? Yes.
What's the melody? You mean Carol of the Bells?
It's like a guitar thing. Like,
but it's like rock and roll. It's very Christmassy.
But like,
that's Carol of the Bells to me.
I
but
know.
Shout out.
But that's like
shout out guitar solos. Shout out shredding. I'm gonna take Sleigh Ride by.
All right, that's fine. I said that song that Blaiden picked was car commercial music, and it is.
It is Lexus. It is definitely Lexus core.
You know what? I drive a Lexus,
sure,
that's fine. You know what? That's fine.
I'll be taking Christmas Time Is Here by Vince Guaraldi from the Charlie Brown Christmas.
That's a good pick.
And then I'm going to take O Tenenbaum from the same album by the same guy.
I see the strategy here, and I do like it. When you took O Tenenbaum, that's such a fire one from there.
Both of those songs are so fire, dude.
They are. I'm going to take Blue Christmas by Elvis Presley with my next pick here.
Yeah, I was thinking about that one, and then I went and listened to it. I'm like, nah, I'm not, come on.
Like, not that one, dude. Okay, well, Matt, I'm going to steal from your bag here. Give me Linus and Lucy from the same Charlie Brown album. And then with my second pick here, or I guess my third pick, I'm gonna get let me get a little bit crazy, and I'll take The Very First Christmas by SpongeBob.
What the fuck? SpongeBob off the board, undrafted free agent. What appeals to you about that song? Like what makes that one special?
It's just very nostalgic. I don't know. Feels.
You listened to that one a lot as a kid. It was you and grandma and mom and dad all around the tree with SpongeBob playing.
I remember like the SpongeBob Christmas episode, and I'm like, oh, this is. And I was like looking back, and I was like, oh, you know what? That was kind of cool. So I decided to throw it on the list. I haven't listened to the song probably in years, but I was like, that's cool.
That song aired in 2012. You were too old to be watching.
You weren't watching SpongeBob in 2012?
I probably was, I guess, but
only
for like
11?
2 more. Only for like a year or two maximum.
It's not that for an 11-year-old to be watching SpongeBob. Like that's. I feel like.
Well, I would have been 12, so I actually think I was way too old.
You had outgrown SpongeBob by that point.
I'm like 2 years away from high school, so I wasn't that nostalgic for the song. I cannot lie. I'm Grinch hour, bro. But let's see. I will take. I will take Christmas, Baby Please Come Home by Darlene Love.
Okay.
That was kind of dramatic.
Fair enough. Is it my turn?
Yes.
You got 2 picks here. Your last 2.
Okay, I'm gonna go Skating off of the same Charlie Brown album.
You're a merchant,
And I was
bro.
gonna pick
You're
Linus and Lucy. So, and you stole that right from me, man. You said, "Oh my God, that is the only good Christmas music," which fares.
If you go to like rateyourmusic.com, that's the number 2 rated Christmas song of all time.
Yeah,
Linus
all
and
of that
Lucy.
whole album's fire. And I don't know, man. Okay, I'll go Wonderful Christmas Time, even though I listened to that and I was like, wow, that song sucks. So I'm not picking Santa Tell Me, Last Christmas. I think Let It Snow, Let It Flow. They're fine. They're all fine. I'm all like completely indifferent about them, but I'm not like I'm not putting in the ear pods and listening.
You could have picked Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by Frank Sinatra. You could have picked Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys.
Okay, I picked that one. The Sinatra one. I picked that one.
You picked that one instead of Wonderful Christmas.
I do like the Simply Have. I like that part of Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time. You listen to any other part of it, and you're like, wow.
It's basically the
McCartney's
same.
He's the GOAT. Don't get me wrong, but wow.
So wait, Matt, you want the Sinatra one?
Sure. You picked one of my. I wrote down 4, so.
Theo, what do you want here?
What do I want here? I'm gonna skip my one from the Charlie Brown Christmas, and I'm gonna get a steal here, waiting till the end, and I'm gonna get What Child Is This?
That wasn't on my board.
You don't even know Ball of the album you're talking about, bro.
Not even on my list, man.
Terrible take.
Not worried, not concerned. Give me Mr. Wop by Gucci Mane, bro.
What about that is a Christmas song?
It's off East Atlanta Santa 3. That's a Christmas album.
If you say so, man. I guess I don't know.
I'll take your word for it.
And also
really didn't sound very festive, that album cover.
The Mr. Watt beat is literally a resample of the Lemonade beat.
What's it? What is it called?
It's called Mr. Wop. W-O-P.
It's like, I want to read some lyrics here.
Yes. I implore you.
Let's see. You've changed on me, Mr. Wop. You're not the same Gucci Mane from the block. You're so mean to the meanest, and your bling is the cleanest, and your chains must be worth a lot.
It's like it's like a Mr. Grinch type thing.
You've changed on me, Mr. Wop. You're not the same Gucci Mane from the block. Is that how it goes?
It's
You're
like the
so
Lemonade
mean
beat.
to the meanest, and your bling is the cleanest, and your change must be worth a lot. Is that how it goes?
It's not in major, but it kinda.
When hit a lick, I'll be the fence. I'll loan you money when you're in a pinch. You gotta pay me back really quick.
It's peak, bro. Trust.
Okay, this doesn't seem like a Christmas song.
Anyway, the other ones that I would have picked here, Matt obviously got the Sinatra Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys would have been a good pick. Both of the Tyler Creator Grinch songs are pretty good. Well, I mean, there's the album, but like I Am the Grinch and You're a Mean One. And then Let It Snow by Dean Martin. And then The First Noel by Andy Williams. But
yes, those two are fire. I don't know why Gucci Mane and just a terrible Paul McCartney song that Matt said that he didn't like are going above like Let It Snow, bro. Like Let It Snow is a classic.
well,
Anyway, whatever. I gotta go.
You didn't pick it. All right.
I guess I should have.
You didn't pick it.
But listen to the songs I did pick. They're all fire. All right.
Listen to the
I
songs
won
that
this.
we
I
all
got
picked.
3 songs off the album. I win.
Anyway, that'll do it for another episode of Stay Hot. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll be back to recap this week of the NFL season, week 16, And then we'll take an episode off for Christmas, and we hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas. And then we'll be back for a live stream that weekend. So make sure you are ready for that. But until then, and we've got some stuff coming out on the Patreon. So if you're not subscribed to us on Patreon, get on that as well. But until then, we'll catch you on the flippity flop.